Hi, I'm Kristen Keller, Director of Athletic Communications, and we're back with another edition of Coach's Corner, this time with head women's soccer coach Josh Lenarz. Coach, how you doing today?
Great, Kristen. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks, and he's here to talk with us a little bit about having a winning mindset. Before we dive into the details of that, Coach, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm a 1998 Trinity Christian alum. I had a marvelous experience for 4 years on the men's soccer program. And then I quickly transitioned after graduation to working full-time at Trinity in the admissions department in athletics. And I've spent the last 19 years as the head women's soccer coach.
Awesome, Coach. And as I kind of just mentioned, we're here to talk with you today about having a winning mentality. It's something that you and your team pride on and something you talk about a lot. Can you just describe what that means to you and the women's soccer program?
Great question. Yes, for sure. That is really important to us. We try and be very intentional in that way. I think I believe it has to start even long before our players arrive here on campus. So we believe that starts in the recruiting process. And so we're trying our best to recruit winners. And we'll talk about a little bit about what that might mean. But even before that, we want our players to really our recruits to fall in love with Trinity. We don't want them to just make a decision that would be a soccer decision or soccer experience at Trinity, but we want them to fall in love with every part of this place. So when we talk about recruiting winners and a winning mentality, we are looking for players that are fiercely competitive, but also at the same time they're selfless and they're great teammates. And we believe that it's absolutely possible to find both of those things in the same person. So maybe just go a little bit deeper on that. If there are players that are just have just really strong work ethics and they're highly driven, and they show up every day to practice and games just to compete at a high level, and yet at their core it's always one phrase that we will use is we over me, and they live that out well.
Okay.
And then that's in the recruiting process. When they get here, then we really want to take that and then move that forward. So we really invest in just the relational aspect, and we want those players to once that relational aspect is being built, we want that to transfer onto the soccer field, and we want that just to come out in a way that you can just tell they enjoy spending time together.
Awesome. And it definitely shows with your program going to many NAIA opening rounds and national championships with the NCCAA. Now, it comes down to what you guys start doing when you're practicing. So what are some of the types of environments that you try to create during practice to help promote that winning mentality?
When we are preparing and prepping for practice every day, I think a couple of our goals is just to achieve, we want to put together practice plans that are fun, but also the focus is there too. So we're getting better every day. And I think one thing that makes our team unique is that we don't ever take ourselves too seriously. We do know how to have a good time, and yet the intensity is always there. And I think one way I would describe our players is there's a competitive spirit about them, where they strive to bring their best to practice every single day. So that's how I would describe our team and our players. Maybe one example I would give you in practice that we try as a coaching staff to be intentional with pulling out like a winning mentality is just those coachable moments. And when we're trying to work on something specific, whether it be a specific day or a week, whatever the topic may be, we work hard to try and find those pause moments when something is being performed correctly. And we can step in and say, yes, this is what we're looking for. We can reinforce those positive behaviors. And we just think that's much more of an effective way to coach than always pausing when something is not performed correctly and letting the team know, don't do it this way. That's not what we're looking for. So we try our best to take a positive approach to everything that we do.
Okay. And now you take that and you do all that in practice. Now, what does a winning mentality look like when your team is competing in matches?
That's a really good question. Something we talk about as a team. One is this: winning is important to our team, winning is important to our program, and we won't apologize for that. We do. We love to win, and yet what's even more important to us is that we want to compete with class, and getting a result without doing things the right way and without competing in class just is something we're not interested in. So I would say that is important to us. And I think the real win, what's really fun for us, is that you don't have to sacrifice one thing for the other. We believe that you can win and win the right way. And we also think that you can do that and compete for conference and national championships every single season.
That's awesome, Coach. And can you maybe give me an example of what that looks like in a game situation?
Yeah, that's great. We talk often about controlling the controllables and how we can really put a lot of our energy into having a great attitude and our effort and our actions. And like one specific way that we can lean into that as a team is that we really focus on having our players try and play with a lot of freedom and freedom without fear, and that it's okay to make mistakes on the field. In fact, it's going to happen. And if you were to even watch professional sports and professional soccer game, mistakes are going to happen. And so it's inevitable, it's going to happen. So we really want to lean into that moment when the mistakes happen, and we want to look different at that moment. So having a positive body language, not hanging our heads, but when that mistake happens, to do everything in our power to fix it. So if that might mean making a bad pass, that next moment you're going to try and just fix it and get in there and try and get the ball back for your teammates. I think what maybe is even more powerful is that knowing that you've got 10 other team members on the field that have your back, and they're going to do that for you. And so we're going to try and we've got each other's backs, and we're just going to try and dig even deeper and fix those mistakes. And then I think one thing that I really learned the last couple of years as a head coach is that when you do that well, when you try and put forth a full effort, and the teammates are working that hard for each other, we've found ourselves in some games where we've had some heartbreaking losses. Just last year in NAI Nationals, I just think my team left everything on the field, and we lost a heartbreaking loss in double overtime, but it was enough. And I found myself experiencing joy at that moment and having a smile on my face. And I think that's been a real win for me as a coach.
Awesome. Well, Coach, thanks so much for talking about this winning mentality and kind of diving into that. Is there anything else that you want to add about this topic?
I think one area that I find just great enjoyment as a head coach at Trinity Christian College is the young women really genuinely enjoy spending time together. We love those moments when we're off campus for a road trip, and that might be just a chance to have a team meal together, or we're in a hotel doing the devotions as a team in the evenings after a big match. And so those are fun moments, a chance to serve together or team building. And then just personally, like I desperately want to know that each of my players know that I deeply care for them, and that's what matters most to me. And I hope and trust they know that, and I hope along with that that we are providing them with just a real positive experience, playing experience as members of the women's soccer team at Trinity Christian College.
All right, awesome. Thank you again, Coach, for taking the time to speak with us. And everyone, we'll see you again next time when we have another edition of Coach's Corner. Coach Lenarz, thanks again.
Thanks, Kristen.